bar, exclusively talks about the sport of boxing.
In my opinion, I think it's a bad idea because, you know, boxers, they should be afraid of, oh man, if I lose this guy, I won't, get the fight. But I'm not sure, Garcia never said that that's his intention. He just said, hey, look, I'm ready. Let me go in there with Tank. But this fight, there's nothing wrong with that mentality, per se. The problem with that is, this fight is, happening, 5-6 months from now. He needs something to stay active. You do not want to go into a fight with tankdavis without getting hit in your face consistently. And I'm not saying that like he needs to be taking a beating or anything like that, but he needs more. Either he gonna be sparring a lot, or he gonna need to be in a fight. And I think that's gonna be detriment to him. That gives Tank more of an edge because Tank is staying active. He's making weight. He'll be making weight. So he's more accustomed to that versus Ryan, who's kind of growing. So you don't know, and plus he's going to be at a catch weight, so you don't know if he's not consistently getting down to weight. We don't know if he's going to be able to in a healthy way, make that weight. So I do think it's not a smart idea, in my opinion.
No, I'm just going to say, for me, I think it could be a gift and a curse. For one, the gift is that he's just going to specifically focus in on tankdavis for this fight. He's going to zero in, and that's going to be the only thing that he's thinking about. That's the only thing he's going to be preparing for. His punches that he throws, everything is going to be preparing for Tank. So he doesn't have somebody else that he has to work on and game plan for, and then start working back on Tank. It reminds me of a time when I played basketball, right? In high school, we were the number one ranked team in the nation, or not the number one team in the nation, number one team in the state, fourth in the nation. And when we were going to play, they had it set up, the playoff system, where we kind of knew who we were going to play. It depended on who won this division, and then we would play them probably the second game. So it was another team that we were going to play, potentially going to play, that all they did, they were in a weak conference. They really didn't have to play anybody. And so what they did, and what one of the guys told me, he said that, he said that particular year, he said what my coach did, he said the last 15, 20 minutes, we always worked on something specifically for y'all. And he said that at the end of the year, we just ended up, when it was time to practice for you, then we just put it all together and we just focused in on what we had to do, to beat y'all. Y'all didn't even paying attention because y'all didn't even thinking about us like that. And so it showed they ended up upsetting us, and they were just ready for everything that we did. They had something for it. So that could be what Ryan is trying to do, if that's what he's thinking. That I'm just going to focus in on Tank. Every punch that I shoot, he come in. I know he likes to do this. I'm studying him. I know his every move. So that could be a good thing. Now, the flip side of it is he might be a little rusty, and that is going to be the drawback. Ryan is not going to be able to take Tank's punches anyway. You know what I mean? So he might be better off doing this. So that's the thing, But I'm also hearing this. Like, some people saying he don't want to take a fight in between because he's cycling the PEDs out of the system. You know what I mean? He doesn't have to get tested. And so you just never know. And he did look huge as I don't know what in that one interview that he gave. I'm like, dang, he's a young man. You never know, how that goes as far as how much mass that a person can put on, especially at that, at that age. So we'll see. But like I said, it's a gift and a curse. He can be really totally locked in for Tank, or he might be a little bit rusty, or a combination of both.
Yeah, I'm in that same boat. He tweeted that during the time they were figuring out the fight, he feels like the fans and everyone who supports boxing, they've seen these Tuneups already. And it's time we just give the fans what they want. And so he also said that Tank is the one that requested the Tuneup and not him. And so from a business standpoint, maybe it's a good move. but only in the sense that it was gonna be on the same night as Jermell Charlo versus Tim Tszyu. But I feel like it still would have been a draw in its own right. But the fans do win in this because nobody was like, people were gonna see it and we were gonna watch it because we would have to talk about it. But nobody was really checking for that fight necessarily. And so I think in that way it was good. But from a boxing standpoint, I agree with you, Phil. I didn't think it was a great move for him. But they were essentially matching him with a southpaw around the same size as Tank. He would have been Tank, but they were trying to get him ready for that. And although he did have 2 fights last year in April and July, I think he would have benefited from taking this fight. He came back and he fought. This off top, I think it was about 16 months of inactivity. He came back from that to fight Emmanuel Tego, I believe. And then he fought like a blown up Javier Fortuna. And so one could argue that if you have talent, like you have the talent. But on the other hand, I feel like after those fights, it is a good idea for him to stay sharp. But we'll see how it plays out. I'm not necessarily, as a fan, which is my primary function, I'm not necessarily mad at it because I wasn't excited at all for that fight. And I was going to be tuned in primarily to Charlo and Tszyu anyway. So, to your point, Will, it can be good and bad depending on how you dice it. Anything else on this?
Yeah, I predict a Canelo Khan type knockout from Tank.
You think so?
Based off this, yep. Based on this, I think Tank gonna put Garcia to sleep.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's a lot closer to a 50-50 fight than most people think. Like I said, I love what King Rye does with smaller guys. Like, it's just going to depend because Tank's going to get clipped. And it depends on how well he's able to handle those shots. Broly should, pause for the cause for a second. And he takes so much time and he waits for the right opportunities for most of his opponents to kind of get tired and fatigued. I don't see Ryan really getting tired and fatigued like that. It's just going to be a matter of Ryan not having those. It's going to be 2 things for Ryan. One, his footwork. That right there is footwork, and when Tank is going to rev it up, because it's going to be a point where Tank is going to know I'm down, and he's going to go all out. Is he going to be able to handle that moment or those moments? Or on the flip side, when Tank does that, is he going to get overzealous and run right into one of those perfectly timed left hands? So that's going to be the tricky moment. Tank hasn't been in these situations before. Like I said, I would be way more confident in Tank if I knew he was fighting some of the guys that he was supposed to have fought before. But this like his first major event like this. What is he gonna do when he's down on the scorecards? Is he gonna unravel? I don't know. Because I think he was certainly getting close to that a couple times when he was fighting against like people like Santa Cruz. But he just is too much for Santa Cruz. I don't know. I think Ryan might be a little bit bigger than Tank. You know what I mean? So we'll see. I think it's closer to a 50-50 fight than most, than a lot of people think.
Yeah, I'm on your side with that, Will. I'm looking forward to it either way, and that's, one less roadblock to it, all things considered. So I'm all for it.